Good evening, I'm SHUMAISA and you're watching PTV World. As usual, with our series, The Minister. We've managed to interview quite a few federal ministers in the last few months, and we decided it was very imperative to now touch upon the provinces. Today, we are joined by, most would say, probably one of the most influential ministers from Sindh. He has 4 portfolios and previously 5 that were actually under him: irrigation, works and services, forest and wildlife, religious affairs, and prisons. We are joined today by Minister NASIR Shah. Assalamu alaikum ji.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you very much for taking out the time. Firstly, I'd like to start with the fact that even in the previous tenure, you held the most important position out of various of the information ministry. Which has been the hardest portfolio that you have held as of to date?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Actually, if you work hard, then every portfolio is a hard one.
Okay.
Okay, and if you take it easy, then every department is easy, because my leadership have confidence on me and they allot me so many portfolios. So I have to work hard and 24/7 to serve the people and to betterment of my department. And actually, it's a betterment for the people. If you do anything to make a good efforts in your department, then obviously you deliver to services to the people.
I have to mention this for everybody who's watching. If somebody was to observe you very closely, it seems that you are one of the few information ministers who actually manages to keep his composure, to answer the question, and to always remain in the realm of respect. Is it something that is a personal trait, or is it something that you have learnt over time?
Maybe they have they not fairly judge it, because
Okay.
our all information ministers, and even nowadays there is advisor, they all are very active and they are very professional in their profession, and they deliver too much.
Okay.
So maybe if anybody judge this, then maybe he is wrong.
Well, I think that the people who are watching would definitely say that every information minister is working within their range, but we would still contend to disagree with you by the fact that you have, as shown in your previous portfolio, that you actually have managed to conduct it.
Thanks for
you don't have to thank me, you have to thank the audience and the people who have actually written into this. Coming back to the portfolios that you have right now, look, one thing that people always talk about, and they criticize the People's Party's government for this, they say that they overburden their ministers with too many portfolios. So it's very difficult for them to perform as well as they could. Do you feel that is the case?
You are very right. But there is problem after 18 amendment. In Sindh, we have to confine our ministries up to 18 ministers, including chief minister, and 5 advisors. And on the other hand, there are, I think, more than 35 or 38 departments.
Okay.
So what can we do?
Okay.
If we, actually we have 38 ministers.
Okay.
Actually
Actually,
for all departments.
You should have that.
We should have. But after 18 amendment, we don't
Are restricted
have
to 18.
Restricted to 18. 18 ministers, including chief minister, and 5 advisors, up to 23.
Okay.
So what can we do? That's why there are so many portfolios, 2, 3 to 1 minister, and obviously CM Saab has 8 to 7 department with him.
Okay. So you're managing all these portfolios. How much time are you able to give to them equally, or do some require more than the others?
Actually, every department has their own nature of work. Just like irrigation, just I think a few days ago it's allotted to me, this department, by the leadership. And this season, because it's a Kharif season, and now we are going to sowing our different thing in lands, agriculture, and our area mostly based on agriculturist. And there is always acute shortage of the water on the time of sowing and these things. So I have to be 24/7 for this department.
Okay, so right now your main focus is irrigation.
Irrigation, because it's a time, and always the tailenders, they always suffer because of so many things. First is the acute shortage, because we don't have our due share. Every year we have problem.
Okay.
But this year, by the grace of God, I think there's a much better position than the previous one.
You have also mentioned very recently, I believe, I read in a few articles a few days ago, once you were handed this portfolio, that you will revamp the irrigation, the water system, so that, as you said, that the person at the tail end gets to benefit from it. The immediate question firstly would be, how will you revamp it? And then the second question will be, for the last 11 years, it has been the People's Party tenure. So why has it not been revamped before?
No. There are so many
Let's start with the first one.
So many program or development program in irrigation department, and there is very successful. There are very successful stories. Our best component is lining of canals, lining of water distributaries, miners, and other things. And when you have 1 kilometer of a canal, lining canal, then you save 1 cubic water.
Okay.
So only in 5 previous years, we lined up to 2,400 kilometers.
Okay.
And by this, we saved more than 2,400 cubic. And also it affect on the water logging, wherever we had these line, in these area, in this district, we get rid of water logging, and the people are very happy. Since 11 years, we have more than 4,000 to 5,000 kilometer line in Sindh, and it's a very successful this story.
Okay.
And its effect on not only we save the water, but also we get rid of the water logging. It's a main problem in our so many districts.
Okay, because water logging leads to salinity.
And also we revamp the systems. If you start from the Gudu barrage, then we are working over there, then on Sakhar barrage, and then on Kotri barrage. Not only the barrage revamping and make them better, but also their system. There are so many systems over there, and we also work on it.
Okay, so right now your main focus is irrigation, but there are other departments. One critical one which is coming up again and again, not just forget provincially, but all over Pakistan, there is a discussion about this. If we listen to even the speeches that are being given by other political leaders, they're talking about religious reform in the madrasas, or the reform of the madrasa system. Recently, we saw that when the Premier Mahathir came over here, we saw 2 incidents take place in Karachi, both based on religious extremism. So the Religious Affairs Ministry has to be a tough one also. What are the problems that you have inherited in this ministry, and how do you plan on solving them?
Actually, this devolved recently. This ministry is basically it's with the federal government, and now it devolved. There in 4 provinces, there is no proper mechanism for this department, but now we are making it better, and that's why there is hardly one meeting held by the federal government of the 4 provinces on it, but we are working on it, and now we have a close contact with the ulamas of the different sects, and we ask them our spirit of our religion. It's a peace, and they have to deliver because many people listen these ulamas because they have a very
following.
So that's why. So we are working on it, but at the moment, this department is not too much active.
But don't you think that it would, have you reached out to the federal minister for religious affairs and said to him, perhaps even on a monthly basis, he could hold a meeting where all the provincial ministers are called in, because there has to be unity within the provinces, because this is not an issue that can just be dealt with provincially.
You are very right, but we are working on it and we have close contact with them. But as I said, it's newly created, and because now it's part, if you have a full name for this ministry, then Zakat, Ushar, Okaf and Religious Affairs. But I have only religious affairs, and my other minister who look after Okaf, Zakat and Ushar, and religious affairs just with me, because I have a close interaction with so many ulamas.
So what is your jurisdiction in the religious affairs provincially? You are just supposed to reach out to
out for the peace committees.
Okay.
For everywhere from district to province, at district level, then divisional level, then on provincial level.
What do you think the biggest problem is that Sindh faces? Let's not talk about Karachi specifically. Karachi is a creature of its own. But if we look at Sindh, what is the largest religious issues that we face? Because they differ provincially.
Actually, all ulamas are very good and very sensible. They want peace. They ask their followers to don't do anything and don't support extremism. So they are very supportive, but we have to work.
So who are the troublemakers?
Extremists are everywhere, are troublemakers. Troublemakers, those have a very extremist thoughts, and where they, that's why. But we want to cool down them and have negotiations with them.
Why do you feel, though? I mean, this is a little off politics, and but I think you are from Sakhar, you know, that's your constituency, and I want to ask you, why is it that if you're leaving Karachi aside, which is a cosmopolitan city, there are people from all over Pakistan, it's very difficult to pigeonhole it. But if you look at the rest of Sindh, we generally see a lot of tolerance. We don't see religious extremism. We will not hear about people from Sindh coming out and joining band outfits specifically, or maybe a very small minority. What do you think the reason behind that is? And at the same time, we see people from, you know, various Muslim sects and Hindus living in peace. In Karachi, we see Zoroastrians, we see, you know, we see all. What is the reason?
You are very right. And
let's look at it historically.
Yes,
what is it?
On whole Sindh is, they are very good with each other, and they celebrate even their festivals, their holy days and their religious days. They all together, because it's because of the Sufism, because of it's one aspect. You can say there is many big dargahs over there, like Shah Abdul Latif Bhitai, the Shehbaz Qalandar, the Sachal Sarmaz, Bedal Bakers, and there are so many big Sufis or big good persons are there. So that's why.
So you're saying historically it's because the message was one of Sufism and peace and coexistence.
Peace, yes, and also historically their backgrounds they are very humble, and that's why.
Okay, but at the same time, we also see that if you look at southern Punjab, for instance, southern Punjab also has a very rich culture of Sufism, yet we are seeing in parts of Punjab, and this is not just now, we've been seeing it for quite some time, we've seen extremist outfits be able to recruit. So why is that happening there and not here so much?
By the grace of God, it's blessings. It's similarly, you are very right, southern Punjab and our Sindh has a close relation, same traditions, same people in both areas. But unfortunately, you are right, and there is too much extremist. Everywhere we find there. So actually, it is because of poverty. actually. It's poverty and lack of education. So those who want to use them, they have easy access on them.
But if you look at it developmentally, look, if we if we talk about poverty, we're going to go province-wise, although I think we should then get into the specifics. If you talk about poverty being the reason, then right now, currently, Sindh developmentally is right ahead of Balochistan and behind the rest. If you look at affluence, Punjab is probably the most affluent province. So where is the poverty?
No. It's perception. It's your perception.
Okay.
And not might be agree with you.
Would you not agree that Punjab is by far agriculturally and otherwise the richest province?
Only some, only their other area, not in this particular area. Where we are discussing these things. And
so you're getting into the specifics now.
Specific area. That's why you say there is a demand from the other province, and because they think they're all funds utilized in other part of the province, not in the southern Punjab. Actually, this is basic their demand.
But we do see, I've been into interior Sindh many times, and I've been into southern Punjab, and I've been all the way up to Waziristan. When you do go into interior Sindh, when you cross over from Sakhar and you go further, you do see extreme levels of poverty. Yet, those are people are not turning towards extremism. So again, I come back to the same argument. What is it?
It's grace of God, blessing of my Almighty
Allah. Well, then
Allah.
I shouldn't keep repeating the question and jinx it.
But okay.
So let's keep it that way.
But there is a lot of development over there, because there is so many program of the Sindh government, Pakistan People's Party's government. Nobody knows about it.
No, we will come to the developmental.
If you, do you have any idea for the SRSO program?
Yes, we do. I will come to the developmental programs, but just one question that I had to touch.
It's not development program SRSO, it's a support poverty reduction program, from which I think more than 7 to 8 lakhs families, they are have their own business from this program.
No, I want to talk extensively, whether it's SROS or other developmental programs. I want to talk about them, but because you mentioned, we were talking about religious extremism, and we were talking about the bifurcation and the demand in southern Punjab for a province. Recently, we heard a lot of noise in the Sindh Assembly when the issue was raised about the division of Sindh. It was very interesting to note that even the opposition leader, Firdaus Sahab, from PTI, he actually took the side of People's Party, and he said that there should be no division. But at the same time, there's a party, MQM, which was saying, why has this issue been raised again, and what are the grievances? What division do they want?
No, because it's if you asking about the MQM people,
yes,
and they always ask for the another province just because for their own sake. They think like, if they raise this slogan, then the people who are they are following, they must be with them. But it's not right. They people rejected them now for this issue. No,
we saw the assembly, and we saw that the vast majority said that we don't want this across the board, whether it was GDA, a majority of PTI.
Only few people from not even whole MQM wants this.
Okay.
Not only the Urdu speaking wants this. It's only some MQM people, some MQM leaders, they have just like as a slogans, but they don't think that this slogan create so many problems between us, and it's a very sensitive issue for the Sindhis. Not only the Sindhi speaking Sindhis, but also
everybody who lives
here, even Balochi speaking.
Everybody from Pakistan lives here.
Everybody from Pakistan, and so it's a very serious issue, sensitive issue. And I request through you, because your channel watched by
everybody in Pakistan and globally. That's the beauty of state TV.
Especially your show. So I request them, don't raise this. It's create conflict, it's create division, it's create hatred. So
Okay, generally when political parties raise these kinds of demands, which are actually perhaps not attainable, but the motive is always
Political motive,
political.
political.
What do you think the political motive was right now? To gain popularity at this point? In the past, they've also been your coalition partners in
They
Sindh.
always in government. They always want to be the part of the government. Now you say they always. If you, they I think uh, from '88 till now, I think only a few years they are out of government. Otherwise, they are the part of government, and now they are also in federal government.
Yes, they are.
So they don't like a fish which is not live without water.
Okay.
So they are not survive without being the part of government.
Okay. I'd like to ask you this. There is a lot of, the chairman of your party recently made a statement. He said that if NAB will do accountability, then it should be for everyone across the board. Keeping that sentence in mind, we have seen that for the last few months, a lot of cases have been opened, very closely linked to your party leadership. Of course, right now there is investigation going on, so it's circumspect. So we can't say that, you know, somebody has yet been convicted or not. Your party continues to maintain that it is persecution. NAB continues to maintain that they have found fake accounts, they have arrests that have been made, they're investigating it. What does your party feel is actually going on?
We are facing these cases from decades, and every time it will be, we prove them wrong. It's from decades, and now also we face them, and because yes, they have this department, NAB has powers, and he must deliver, he must perform everyone, not selective, not only for People's Party. Now they are.
PMLN hasn't been neglected either, even they have been roped in.
No. If you recall a year ago, statements of the PMLN leaders and PMLN people, the same as now PTI ones. Same. They also criticize People's Party because we are facing this since, as I already said, decades.
But do you recall, I will let you continue, but you also have to keep in mind, and I want for the younger generation who perhaps is not that aware of history, you have to understand when these sort of allegations have been made in the past, when we go back to the 90s, they have resulted in governments being changed. If we look at these kind of allegations, yes, you say nothing was proven, and former President Asif Ali Zardari was released, he wasn't convicted, but how many years did it take? How many years of exile did Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto have to go through? So let's not take it so lightly. It's very easy to say that you overcome it, but I'm sure there must be a fear in your party leadership about the time that it could take, whether it's right or wrong at the end, whether they are convicted or not convicted.
There is no fear.
There is no fear.
No fear, because we know them. Because it's a mindset. It's a mindset which is against Pakistan People's Party. Not now, but from decades. After the Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, they are creating a perception against People's Party since from years. And as you already now said, Asif Ali Zardari Saab also facing convict in jail, and the courts, there is no evidence, nothing against him.
We don't
just
know
perception.
that yet. We don't know that. I
since,
can't. You can't comment.
Now,
I can't. Right now, yes.
Yeah, since now there is only perception. They only create a big reports. This found. This case is money laundering. They have nothing.
What about the fake accounts that have been traced all the way to people like, you know, people who are working for the Omni Group? If you see Anwar Majid has been arrested, he's in jail. He's just one person. There are many others. So they have been closely affiliated with the People's Party.
No doubt, they are affiliated.
So how do you
But
defend that?
Just take any one this account, okay?
Okay.
They linked it with from this account there is a bill for the chairman Bilawal Bhutto, and there is something from this account to the Adi Faryal Talpur's house in Nawab Shah for some millions and something, and they didn't. Nobody says that these accounts also operated by the sugar mills, and where their sugar cane goes, they have all proof in taxes, in everywhere. There are, I think, millions of rupees for their sugar cane is with these factories, these sugar mills, and these bills related to these things.
But some of these sugar mills are owned by people like Anwar Majid.
Yes, in these area there are sugar mills who owned by them, where they send their sugar cane.
Okay, so you're saying that the people that have been arrested should be investigated, but that does not mean that, which is what you're saying, that does not mean that they are linked to the leadership of People's Party.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you will see, and we will prove it. When you minutely go, and there is a case in the NAB, they are inquiring it, they will also, within, I think, I hope, I am very confident that from Supreme Court and from High Court, we get relieved because there is nothing in it. And when they minutely see all things, then it's proved that these funds are of their sugar canes, not something else.
Okay, Prime Minister Imran Khan has always maintained that if he finds that there is any corruption in his party, that he will immediately take action. He says there is zero tolerance for corruption, not just within his party, but very vociferously he says for all parties. Does your party take the same stance that if there is corruption that is discovered within the party, that it will be dealt with very harshly?
Yes, Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is clearly asked everybody, if anybody found in corruption, then he will check.
Okay, coming back to...
And no,
yes.
Response to your question, as you ask about the Prime Minister Sahab. So why don't he take action against his federal minister who is found in the corruption of the medicines?
He fired him,
No,
in case you recall.
No, just fired. But where is NAB? Where is NAB? Where is other investigation?
You're talking about former Minister Kiani, who has been alleged of corruption and has been removed. So you're saying just being removed is not enough, an investigation must also follow.
Also. And why he, my Prime Minister, because he is a Prime Minister of Pakistan, country Prime Minister, why order for the investigation for my respected Alima Appa and some other, from where they have these all things? Why this only for the Pakistan People's Party, and now for since few months for the PMLN?
Not a few months, please. It's been an ongoing process for a very long time for PMLN.
No.
They have been facing the courts.
You recall, there are so many programs in which PMLN people also defend NAB as now PTI people do. And just like their ministers, the minister of PMLN always came on media, and same things, though by the PTI, these same things were from the PMLN. And you and we are here, and also the people are here after some time.
Some time being a few months or a year, we will redo this interview.
After some time, PTI people also are on some other hand, and there is someone else who praises these departments or these institutions, and the PTI also blame like us.
Okay, so your basic fundamental stance is that we are open to accountability as People's Party. However, whether it is PTI in power or PMLN in power, even if a minister is removed, an investigation must follow.
But
the same way
not
it is.
the selective, for the
For everybody who has been accused of corruption, removal is not just good enough, investigations must also follow. Coming back to PMLN, you said that for a few months, their statements are now similar to what yours are. Prior to that, their statements were similar to PTI. There are talks still happening behind the scenes and in front of the scenes between Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. It seems that it's a very convenient partnership that happens when you need each other, which I suppose is a necessity of politics. And it's a very convenient, not a convenient, I would say it's not even a convenient or an amicable divorce. It becomes a very nasty divorce when the two of you end up fighting. What is the reason right now for the two of you having these talks, whether they end up in something productive or not?
Because we are in opposition, and whenever any parties are in opposition, they have one agenda, and is to open eye for the government. For if they are doing wrong, then they have to ask them. And always opposition is joint.
Well, people generally say, they say that Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz only come together when there is a situation where they need a bailout, where they need to get out of cases, where they feel that they are being persecuted justly or unjustly. That seems to be their reason to coexist, and then they say it's because of democracy.
At the moment, it's the narrative of the present federal government, only because they have nothing to deliver here. So they have only one narrative. We are not going to give NRO, and we are this, that.
But do you want an NRO?
Who asks them? Who asks them for NRO? Are they capable? Are they capable to give NRO? Are they have influenced on this institution and on Supreme Court and Honorable High Court? If they are capable, Prime Minister is capable to give NRO?
But I want to ask you, does People's Party even want an NRO?
No, not at all.
Because I think you guys have categorically maintained that you don't want an NRO. You're willing.
Never, ever. Because they have nothing to ask and face the people what they have delivered in these few months, and where is our economy condition in just only in few months. So yeah, they have only two narratives, Ehtisab and NRO, nothing else.
Okay, but having said that, we have a new finance minister who was also formerly one of Pakistan People's Party's finance ministers. Obviously, you must have had faith in Mr. Sheikh to give him that position. So wouldn't you at least be a little hopeful now that he is the finance minister, that perhaps the economy will now steadily improve?
We are just thinking how PTI criticize our economic policies when they have the same guy.
But you had multiple finance ministers also.
Yes,
he was not
but
the only one.
They criticize our each and every day, no? of this era. So how they now criticize it when they also take same guy from?
But are you at least hopeful that with this finance minister, there is hope that the economy...
We wish, because either we are not in the federal government, but if there is a betterment over there, is a good policy over there, it's better for my country, for my people. So we wish for the better.
Coming back to a critical thing which you had wanted to talk about, and I think you should be given the opportunity. Like I mentioned earlier when I started the show, that you are perhaps the most influential minister in Sindh currently. You were talking about developmental works, the work that the People's Party government has done, because quite frankly, either it is a lack of the media management of People's Party, or I don't know what, because the rest of the Pakistan does not get to hear about it. What have you done?
There are lot of things in every area, in every department, and everything. If you just take the road network, so we have a lot of roads in our province, in our whole province, not only roads, but we have also bridges on the river, on the canals, and so many other things, samely in the building sector. But in road sector, we have a great job.
Okay, so infrastructure. What about healthcare?
There's a lot of our big things just like NICVD, and we are also working for SIUT, also supporting cancer hospital, and upgraded our THQ Talka hospitals, our BHUs, and...
Is there some conflict right now between the federal and the provincial about, yes, that it comes under the province or the federal?
When it was belonged to federal, then their budget is only 700 million. Now, Sindh government has extended up to more than 10,000 million at the moment. And we have a great jobs in whole over Sindh, NICVD from Karachi to till Sakhar and many other districts, and we are working over there. And similarly, there are so many other departments, just like cyber knife for the cancer, and also there is a big unit for the PEDS for the children, and so many.
Okay, what about education? Because if you look at the facts and figures, the Sindh government actually increased its budget for education. Yet we still see the literacy rate at somewhere around 50% approximately. We also see the same ghost schools. We see the situation not improving. So although the budget has increased, the literacy and the educational level hasn't increased.
There are some problem over there, but we are make it better every year. And even my Minister of Education, our Minister Sardar Shah Sahab, he is very active and he is working very hard. Even his daughter is in the government school.
Okay.
Yes.
She's a teacher there?
No, not a teacher. She studies there.
Okay, she studies
Yeah.
That's
because
wonderful.
there is a concept, there is nobody send his children to the government schools. Everybody go for the private schools. Right. But our minister, he has only one daughter, and she is in government school.
Well, that's very impressive, but we would still like for the rest of the education.
No, that's why it's improving, but we have need more improvement.
Okay. There is also an ongoing tussle right now between you and the federal in terms of allocation of funds, in terms of budget. Why do you feel? Because they simply say, we would like to actually look at your accounts. We want to see where you've spent the money. You're saying, this is our budget, just give it to us. What is the issue that is stopping it, or do you feel it's being used as a pawn?
No, issue is this: they are not supporting us, even support, but at the moment we have a short of 145 billion, and this amount is with the federal government, and they don't
Why?
release. Because they want make problems for us, and from this budget our development is suffer.
Why do you think they wouldn't want, why would the federal not want a province which is desperately in need of funds to improve?
It's better you ask them for this.
Well, when I go back to Islamabad, I will.
Actually, they are not capable. Even if you see their receipt in few days, they are very poor. Okay. Their recovery from, there is a big difference than the previous years and this year's.
You know, Karachi, for instance, which is obviously a part of Sindh, generates, it's a lifeline. It generates, what, 70% of the taxes of Pakistan? It hardly gets anything in return. And at the same time, the money that is allocated over here is very small compared to what Sindh actually requires. Forget Karachi for a second. Karachi is another story. So how can you expect, how can we expect for Karachi, with its growing population, with the continuous migration that's happening towards it, and, you know, how do we expect it to improve? What is it that your government can do that's in their hands? Like, what percentage of their budget can they allocate here?
It's again a perception, wrong perception, because Pakistan People's Party spent a lot of budget on Karachi because Karachi is ours. Karachi, we love Karachi, and Karachi is a part of Sindh. And you see there's a lot of development works over there. And where is this JPMC? In Karachi, whose budget was 700, now it's up to 10,000 million. Where is this hospital? In Karachi. And there are so many other institutions, our other development programs, those are in Karachi.
Okay, why is it that people always say that the largest number of corruption cases that are being reviewed right now by NAB, proven or not proven, we'll find out later, are from Sindh? Do you think specifically Sindh is being
targeted?
Yes,
Sindh
well, I'm going to say it very simply.
Sindh has been targeted because it's
Or do you really
belong
think that it's easier to do corruption here? I'm not talking about you, than the rest of Pakistan.
Just see something. These NAB and other institutions are working here from so many years, and there are so many cases. There is no one, so many has a call-up notice and other things. So how there is corruption now? They are facing these cases since 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. And not only this institution, there is other institutions, those are creating problems for the Sindh government. They are have
So you're saying that Pakistan People's Party feels a sense of persecution right now. What would it take? Look, because you were saying you were very, like I always said, I have seen very rarely have I seen such a respectful information minister. And when you said, you referred to Prime Minister Imran Khan, you said, our Prime Minister. You gave him that due respect. And so what I'd like to ask you is, what would it take? Look, Pakistan is economically not doing very well. We have an internal security issue. We are trying very hard to reinvigorate our foreign policy. You have young blood in your party. Your chairman, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, is a young man, an Oxford graduate. He's an eloquent gentleman. What would it take for Pakistan People's Party, PTI, to work together to actually strengthen Pakistan, putting aside if there are corruption charges, sit down, resolve them. If you have a problem with PTI's inefficiency, sit down and resolve it, because like you said, at the end of the day, it's for Pakistan. What would it take from both sides?
Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is the future of Pakistan. And if you recall his speeches of and other things where he, in interviews, he always asked support for the federal government whenever there is a crucial things and crisis over there. He clearly asks his support to the federal government.
What about internal issues?
No. There is politically problems. We have every political parties has their own.
How could you minimize them so that everybody could collectively work together? What would it take?
Seriousness from the PTI government. They
I
are
think
not
seriousness
serious.
from both sides, all parties?
No,
because there are certain elements in all parties that do not want this.
If we are not serious, why our chairman offer his full support to the Prime Minister when there is a crisis situation and when on the borders? Not only on the borders, you remember when there is a crisis in the country by the dharnas and other things from some elements. So he gave his whole support clearly on the floor of the House to the Prime Minister. And in return, what there are so many ministers from the federal government, they replied in very wrong way.
Okay.
They get it something else.
Okay, finally, last part, I'd like to ask you, you know, you have grown up in Sindh. You know, you've done your master's in arts, I believe.
Political science.
Political science and arts over here. Did you always want to be a politician? Is it something that you've inherited from your family legacy? Because a lot of people do and they don't want to go into politics. Is it something that happened accidentally? Was it always a desire? What is it?
It's not accidentally.
Because it's not an easy job.
Yes. Because my father was in politics. He was a member of parliament since 1970s, and I continued.
So it was expected of you.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do this.
Yes, I now like it.
Okay, and if I were to take it further and say politics is your passion.
You can say.
Now, whenever we are passionate about something, a lot of other very critical things get neglected. How is your family? I'm sure, I mean, I have worked, you know, I've traveled with you, I've worked with you. Very long hours. It's a very difficult day. How supportive is your family? Because I normally ask women this question, but now I've started asking men this question because I believe in equality.
Obviously they support me, but you are very right. There is many problems in your
Of course, you
life.
have grandchildren that you can't spend time with.
We don't give them proper time, and I realize this. Yeah.
But it is because of their support that you're able.
Yes, they support.
Well, thank you very much for having taken out the time. I'm truly grateful. And like I said, with all these ministries that you have to handle and the current ongoing political situation, I wish you all the best. And thank you for shedding light for my viewers on how Pakistan People's Party and PTI and PMLN can actually move forward and work towards a better Pakistan. As always, I truly hope that Pakistan is headed towards a brighter and more prosperous future. Thank you for watching. See you next time.